So now we're going to look at how to manage weekly loading, how to sort of adjust your training schedule. The easiest way I found trying to sort out your weekly loading is RPE, 1 to 10, rate of perceived exertion. After every training, 1 to 10, my strength session. How hard was today? It was an 8. In the evening, I've got drilling or sort of technical kickboxing work. This was a 6 out of 10. It wasn't as hard because it was a lot of coaching going on. So what you do now, if, for example, you had 2 sessions that day, you've made a note of the morning one, you've made a note of the evening session, you now combine the two, divide it, and you get an average for the day. Your next day, you do the same principle. Whatever session you do, you rate it 1 to 10. You go through the entire week, you look at each session. You need to have these scores because you want to understand which one was the hardest. So sometimes you might do, for example, a Thursday we do a power session, and Thursday evening you might actually have a wrestling session, and the power session had you really spent. All right, and then wrestling, we know, is physically one of the most demanding sessions. And now you've put an 8 or 9 out of 10. That 2 hard sessions should not be together. So physically writing it down on a page, each session, 1 to 10, how hard it felt, and make a note of why it felt hard, is perfect. Then you average your day if you did 3 sessions. Often pro athletes will train 3 to 4 times a day. Novices will train 1 to 2, and then sometimes it even goes to just 3 times a week if you're just starting off. All right, so you got the 3 times a week, 1 to 2 a day, 3 to 4 a day, based on the level of athlete you are. RPE every session, average every day. Have a look at the end of the week, plot it out on a graph, and look at where your RPE is, what it's doing. Now that's just for training. That's purely just for training and all training sessions, S&C sessions, all of your fight trainings. Now you're going to do the same thing for your sleep. All right? That's how we manage our weekly loading. All right? What am I doing for my sleep? How did I rate that sleep? And why I like doing sleep is because the work we do in the day affects our sleep. If I give my athletes too many stimulating exercises late at night, it's very hard for athletes to sleep. So you find often there's a lot of research out there that after a game or after evening training, athletes find it the hardest to sleep due to raised levels of hormones. All right, so my advice, or what I would pass out, is try and alternate the days or couple of days where it's hard versus medium versus low, and you can tailor this close to a competition. All right, so you want to have the best sleep you can closest to your competition. You want to have the sort of best weekly loading closer to the competition, and this is where tapering comes into play. All right, so you've been doing the RPEs 8 weeks out, all very high. All right, now you're 4 weeks down the line, and if you've been tracking this and punching this into your computer, you'll start getting to see a trend. One, because the physical, your anatomy and physiology changes that's occurring, those fitness, aerobic and anaerobic changes, all are sort of coming together, and you start seeing changes. All right, as we get closer to the fight. Remember what I said about S&C being the secondary and fighting being your primary. This is where you manage weekly loading by going, how much S&C work am I doing in the week? It's now 4 weeks away from a fight, and how much fight training am I doing? I personally think you should only be doing 2 S&C sessions in that week. Again, it can alter based on coaches. However, primary takes importance. This is where you're sharpening up. Last 4 weeks. Remember, every time you're not paying your debt back, you're turning up to a fight stale. So if you can reduce that secondary work in that last 4 weeks of your fight camp, we're still doing it, We reduce the strength component, we're keeping the power component, we're keeping the volume down, we're maybe keeping the intensity up, but that's a way to manipulate load. Coming to 2 weeks before the fight, I drop a lot of the weight. It's just ballistic movements. Again, I'm trying to manage the load of the fighter because I understand at the start of a camp, you have a high workload of S&C, high workload of conditioning. As it comes down closer to the fight, S&C drops down, the fight specific work picks up. All right? But we've done so much work that we can match the requirements of the fight training. 2 weeks out, 1 week out of the fight, it's all sharpening. Right? You shouldn't be having 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So the takeaway from this is how to manage weekly loading is a simple RPE scale on every training session for the day, average the day, end of the week, look at yourself, where's the day for rest, ensure there's 1 day, half a day, 2 days if you need to, take rest, pay your debt back because less is more.